What if the key to ultimate freedom wasn't in getting more, but needing less? The Stoics knew that freedom doesn't come from external control, luxury, or approval. It begins in the mind. Their truths weren't crafted for comfort. They were forged in hardship. They believed the only real prison is being controlled by what you can't control. Imagine this. Someone insults you. Most people react. Anger flares. Ego rises. But a Stoic? He sees the insult as nothing more than sound waves, not worth a drop of peace. That's not weakness. It's power. The power to decide what deserves your energy. The first truth. You are disturbed not by events, but by your opinion of them. Freedom isn't avoiding hardship. It's facing it with strength. Truth 2. Suffering is not in the event, but in the resistance. If you stop fearing pain and see it as a teacher, pain becomes purpose. The third Stoic truth. The man who masters himself can never be enslaved by others. And here's where the chains get lighter. When you finally stop trying to control people, control outcomes, and control how you're perceived. The Stoic realizes, control only what's yours. Your actions, your judgments, your response. The rest, let it go. Shackles fall when you take full responsibility for your mindset. And that, more than anything, is where the Stoic path to freedom begins. A mind at war with itself will never know peace. The Stoics taught that freedom begins not with control over others, but control over your thoughts. When you stop letting your emotions drag you like a storm-tossed ship, you begin to stand firm, unshakable, untouchable. This is where real liberation lives, in the space between stimulus and response. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Think about that. Someone betrays you. Life throws chaos your way. Most people spiral. Anger, resentment, revenge. But the Stoic pauses. He observes the moment, separates fact from feeling, and acts with reason. That pause, that's power. Truth. 4. Your emotions aren't commands. They're suggestions. You decide what to do with them. Truth 5. Every challenge is a test of character. Life will pressure you, it will provoke you, and each time it does, you get to decide who you are under pressure. Victim or warrior. Freedom is not the absence of hardship, it's the strength to stand calm in the middle of it. That's truth 6. The Stoic doesn't pray for easy days, he trains for hard ones. He prepares his mind the way a soldier prepares his blade, and when the storm hits, he's ready, not because it's easy, but because he's trained for it. These ancient truths were not written for luxury. They were built for the battlefield of life. And if you want to walk the Stoic path to freedom, you must stop trying to change the world and start mastering the one thing that matters most, yourself. The moment you realize you don't have to react to everything, you become dangerous in the best way, because no one can manipulate you anymore. This is truth 7. Power belongs to the man who responds, not the man who reacts. Emotional control is not about suppression, it's about direction. You take that energy and use it. Convert anger into discipline, turn frustration into fuel, and your silence, that becomes your weapon. Truth 8. Your peace is expensive. Stop giving it away for free. Every time you argue with fools, every time you try to prove your worth, you're spending your energy on things that don't matter. Marcus Aurelius said, "You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you." That's a truth most people never understand, but the Stoic, he lives it. And here's where you step in. If you've made it this far, you're not just scrolling, you're searching for strength, focus, and peace. So here's your call to action. Subscribe now, because every video on this channel is built to sharpen your mind like a blade, to train you like a warrior, one principle at a time. You want clarity, you want discipline, you want to become mentally unshakable? This is the place. Join the movement. Don't just consume, transform. Truth. 9. Your attention is your greatest currency. Spend it wisely. You've already spent a few minutes here. Now invest a few more. Truth 10. Live by values, not by moods. Most people are slaves to their feelings. If they're tired, they don't work. If they're offended, they lash out. But a Stoic? He acts based on principles, discipline, integrity, courage. These are not moods, they are choices. And when you make them daily, you start living a life that's not only unshakable, but deeply aligned with who you are. Now imagine this. You walk into a room and your presence alone commands respect. Not because you're loud, not because you're flashy, but because you're calm, you're grounded. You've trained your mind not to flinch. That's what happens when you live these truths. You stop being at the mercy of the world and you start influencing it with silent power. This isn't theory. This is ancient wisdom tested in battle, literal and metaphorical. Marcus Aurelius led armies and empires with these ideas. Epictetus taught them from a place of pain and limitation. They didn't just talk about these principles, they lived them. And now, you get to decide whether you will too. But remember, knowledge isn't power until you apply it. The 10 truths you just heard are weapons, but only if you wield them. Don't wait for a perfect day. Start now. Practice one today, then stack another tomorrow. Let each one carve a little more clarity into your life, step by step. You're not just learning Stoicism, you're becoming it. When you embrace these Stoic truths, you stop being pulled by the chaos of life and start moving with purpose. You begin to understand that freedom isn't about having no responsibilities, it's about mastering your response to them. It's about walking through challenges with a calm mind and steady breath. People around you may panic, complain, or collapse, but you respond with strength, clarity, and poise. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you free. You won't always get it perfect. You'll slip. You'll react instead of respond. But each time you return to these principles, you sharpen your edge. You quiet the noise. You tap into something deeper than motivation or emotion, something unbreakable. That's when you stop chasing approval or fearing judgment. You realize your value isn't in what others say, it's in how you show up when no one's watching. Now the question is, which of these truths will you start living today? Will you master your emotions? Will you choose purpose over comfort? Will you finally lead yourself like a true Stoic? Let me know below. And remember, your power begins the moment you decide to own it.